prepared for all of you. I am Miss Chini. I am a faculty has prepared for all of you. I am Miss Chini. I am a faculty member of the College of Education, and tonight I will be your facilitator. I hope that you are all doing great tonight, and I hope that we continue to learn. And for today, first, I would like to introduce to you the person who will be giving us a rationale for this evening and to give us more information about the different series that we'll be having in this webinar. And of course, to give our warm welcome to our Dean. For those who are with us now here in Zoom, kindly please use the thumbs up. And for those who are using Facebook or those who are watching us through Facebook Live, please use also your thumbs up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome and I give all of you Dr. Jestoni Babia, the Dean of the College of Education.
All right, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to our USJ-R College of Education webinar series. This is actually one of the first webinar series that we are having in the college because we are challenged to create more innovations in order to reach other parts of the Philippines and in the world for new learnings and new insights. So our theme for this webinar series is reinventing and innovating teaching and learning paradigms in the new normal. So by the way, USJ-R College of Education is located in Region 7 in Cebu, Philippines, and USJ-R College of Education is one of the centers of excellence in teacher education in Region 7. So we aim to inspire and create a difference and make a difference to the lives of the Filipino students across the Philippines and across the world. So let me just give you a quick insight why we need to change the way we learn in the new normal. So I have 4 points here that I'd like to share to you. The reason why we are really conducting this webinar series. First is, the new normal is challenging us to explore. So we need not to stop ourselves in the limitations of our homes. So exploring the 21st century, in the 21st century requires us to be creative, to be innovative, and critical thinkers. Second point that I'd like to stress is that the new normal requires educators and students to innovate. So exploring in the new normal may lead to innovations and therefore allowing us to strengthen our existing knowledge and skills. And I suppose some of you here who are joining our webinar series are really experts in the field, and some of you are really welcoming new knowledge and at the same time experiences in this webinar series. Third is, the new normal must break barriers for learning. When we explore and innovate, we continue to learn new things despite the change. So sharing them is actually the key to spread more evidence-based approaches towards collaborative learning. And lastly, there are actually many tools to explore in the new normal, and these tools could be synchronous or asynchronous tools or models, which can actually help us achieve a meaningful global education. So how will these webinar series topics go? As mentioned by Ms. Chini, our host for tonight, we will be having 5 sessions for this webinar series, and we call this our Learn at Home webinar series. So what are some of the sessions that you might be expecting to attend, or some of you might be choosing which of these sessions you are interested in, or some of you might complete the sessions. So session one, which is happening tonight, is all about Microsoft tools for learning and data analysis made easy. Then session two will focus on sustaining active lifestyle at home. So that will be given to us by our physical education faculty members. Then the session three is all about special education in the new normal. So some of you are special educators, perhaps might be given an idea on how to explore special education concept despite the challenge of enhanced community quarantine, or some of you might be having general community quarantine in your respective homes. Session 4 will be about exploratory data analysis using principal component analysis. Those who are doing research might be interested to attend this topic because you might have an additional knowledge on the new statistical tools that we can use, specifically focusing on the PCA. And the session 5 will be about ESD and global citizenship education. So we will be inviting some speakers across Southeast Asia to talk about education for sustainable development and global citizenship education, and how can we, despite the limitations of the new normal, how can we be able to connect and collaborate together for global citizenship education? So what are some of the perks for joining our webinar series? First is, of course, you will be learning in the comforts of your home. Some of you are there in your sala, some of you are there on your table, wherever you are right now. So I hope that you are enjoying the comforts of your home. Second is, you can also share them in your respective learning groups to your faculty members or to your classmates, co-workers, and the rest of them. And they might be inspired that they will listen from you after learning the webinar series. And of course, for those who have attended the webinar series tonight, you will receive a certificate of participation. But I've mentioned here that the certificate of participation will be for every topic. And for those who are religiously attending our webinar series, if you have attended the 5 sessions for our webinar series, you will receive a certificate of completion, as what I mentioned, when finishing the 5 webinar series. So with that, I wish to thank you all and hope that you guys will enjoy and you will have more fun in learning many, many exciting things. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Babia, for that. This time, before we begin our webinar sessions, it's very important that I emphasize very important house rules, so that we'll be having a really smooth webinar this evening. So I would like to show you our house rules. First, make sure to keep your microphones mute at all times unless you are asked to unmute it. Second, it is recommended that you also keep your webcams off so that we will have lighter traffic in our webinar. Third, questions will be entertained only during the open forum, which will be done after each talk. Lastly, questions will be acknowledged when you use the raise hand feature in Zoom, or if you are watching via Facebook Live, please leave a comment on the COE Hallway Live video. Again, if it's not needed or if it's not necessary, please do not use the raise hand feature in Zoom. And of course, we also have very important announcements for this evening. First, please make sure that you have filled out the registration form via the Google form, which can be found in the COE hallway page. Second, as mentioned by our dean earlier during his talk, an e-certificate of participation will be given or will be available after every session. And if you have completed all the 5 webinars, you will be receiving an e-certificate of completion. And ladies and gentlemen, a Google form link will be provided in claiming the certificate. After this particular session, I will be giving out a link and you will have to finish answering the questions, which are, by the way, related to the sessions that we'll be having this evening. And you will have to complete it within 1 hour because it will expire. This is again to ensure that you have been with us all throughout the session. And prizes will be given for those who will be able to answer our trivia questions. And of course, in giving out our prizes, you need to have a GCash because we will be giving out our prizes via GCash. 100 pesos care of our dean. And lastly, for more information about the varied courses and majors that are offered in the College of Education of the University of San Jose Recoletos, please feel free to visit our USJ-R official Facebook page, that's University of San Jose Recoletos. And of course, you may also visit our website, that's www.usjr.edu.ph. And of course, you may go straight to the COE official webpage. Actually, that's our COE official publication page, the COE hallway. We will also be announcing our YouTube channel, which will be available. Please subscribe. And now I think it's time for us to have our first trivia question. I'm going to read out the mechanics for this trivia. Let me first make sure that I can see all the participants. There you go. I'm also making sure for a while that I am watching the Facebook Live. Hello, everyone, for those who are watching our Facebook Live. Again, for our trivia, again, please prepare your GCash application if ever you win. We will be sending you prizes. If you wish to answer our trivia questions, please click the raise hand button for those who are with us here in Zoom. I believe you already know where that is found. And for those who are watching via Facebook Live, the first one to comment the correct answer will win the prize. But of course, to make it fair, I will alternately give out questions. I will first direct my question to those who are here with us in Zoom, and I will be giving out questions for the Facebook Live audience as well. For the winners, please message the COE hallway page. Please give your complete name and GCash account number so that we'll be able to wire the prize to you. So are we ready? I can already see people who are raising their hands. I didn't ask the question yet. First question. First question. Did you know that in the College of Education, there is a dean who have served for 20 years? She was the dean of the USJ-R College of Education for 20 years and is considered as the longest serving dean of the College of Education. Who is she? This question is for those who are with us here in Zoom. I can see Miss Consolacion Susan Ju. Your answer, please. Kindly please chat your answer to me so that I will know if you got the correct answer. Again, Miss Susan, where are you? For a while, Miss Susan. I think I can't hear you. I forgot to unmute you. And your answer is? Ma'am Susan, I already unmuted you. So your answer is? I can hear you now, ma'am. And I'm sure the rest of the participants, they also can hear you now. She served the College of Education for 20 years. Anybody? Okay, so I think Ma'am Susan can't hear us. I'd like to proceed to the next question, which will now be directed to those who are with us via Facebook Live. I can even hear myself. Okay, via Facebook Live. I'll change the question. Still about very important people in the college. She has served the College of Education as the secretary for 27 long years. Again, she has served the college for 27 years. Who is that secretary? Anybody who'd like to answer? I'm waiting for a comment via Facebook. This question is for those who are watching us via Facebook Live. So I'm waiting for the first person to give me the correct answer. Who would our first winner be? Okay, Aisha Sakul got the correct answer. The answer is Mrs. Shawnee. Mom Shawnee de los Reyes has been in the College of Education for 27 years. Congratulations. Please message COE always so that you'll be able to get your prize. And I think that I will be giving out more questions later on. And I think we have to begin our first session. And our first session, ladies and gentlemen, is about data analysis made easy. I would like to introduce our first speaker. The speaker for this particular topic was a former research specialist in Southwestern University and a former education program specialist in Cebu Normal University. He has been the data analyst for several project evaluations under UNICEF, World Vision, and other NGOs since 2012. He is currently a professor in the University of San Jose Recoletos College of Education and an advisor of the math and science major. One fun fact about him, ladies and gentlemen, he is a dive master and an underwater photographer. Isn't that amazing? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. Rex Villavelez.
All right. All right. Thank you, Miss Jean. Good evening, everyone. All right. So I'm up first. Okay. So basically, this input is about the basics of data analysis. We know that data analysis is actually important not just for research but on other fields as well. I would like to remind the participants that I'll be using Excel for this session. So if you want to learn the process, if you want to learn the procedures, you might want to get a notebook or a pen or have your cell phones ready to take pictures of some of the procedures that we will be doing. All right. So is that okay? Okay. So I'm checking the videos. Is that okay to everyone? Okay. All right. So let's begin. Okay. So let me first share the screen. Okay. Okay, here we go. And let me see. Okay. Okay, for a while. Okay. So here we are. This is data analysis made easy for beginners and for somewhat advanced researchers or individuals out there who have been into this field. Okay, I assure you that even students can learn this, since we have students in our uh, room late this evening. Okay, so let's start with this. Okay, all right. So here we are. Okay, so basically, in the 21st century, data is the new essential. They call it the new resource. They call it the new fuel. They call it the new coal. All right. Because of the advent of internet and the connectivity of people, data has become such a vast resource. All right. So let me just show you this demographic. Okay. So you have social media. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Instagram. We have YouTube, and every 60 seconds you get around 600 petabytes of data. And as we go further, and if you can see this section over here, it can grow to 2.7 zettabytes. That's in 2012 alone lang. And take note, we are in 2020. And it is projected that in 2015, previously in 2015, it's going to be around 8 zettabytes. Let me just remind you that zettabytes is higher than a gigabyte. So you can just imagine that amount of data that is available currently. All right. So let's begin with some recall of what we already know in stat, no? If you have finished your stat. For those who have not taken their stat, you can take notes on this, because for sure, when you do stats when you go back to class, or when we have your online classes, this will be for sure tackled. All right, let's go to the. Okay, let's just remind you that this data is for the quantitative. Okay, so when I say quantitative, it means numbers. It means information, not qualitative, because it's another discipline. All right. So these are quantitative data. I mean. So first and foremost, for sure what's categorical data. This is attributes or data that refers to names of classifications. So basically, marital status, political party, eye color, gender is also part of this. Okay, so you are in a category. You'll be given you are in a category. No? All right, and we move on to the second one, which is that will be our focus for this evening, no, when we do analysis. All right, here we go. For numerical data, we have two types. We have two basic kinds of data that we usually collect. So we have the discrete and the continuous. All right. Discrete basically is counted items. Number of chickens, number of times, number of how. It basically talks about how many. Okay. And we have the continuous, which means these are measured characteristics. This is data that you gather from using a certain instrument, a thermometer, a ruler, a meter stick, so forth and so on. Now, however, if you want to be really particular with what's the difference between the two, the discrete data can never have a 0.5 value, a 1.5, a 2.5. That kind of data or that kind of number does not exist in a discrete data, all right? Because when you count, there can never be like how many people attended the seminar. You can never say 20.5 because there's no such thing as 0.5 person. So it's always a whole number. And so for the continuous part, for the continuous data, okay, we can now have that kind of numbers, a decimal, so to speak. So you can have like here for, let's say for weight, you can have 50.5 kilograms. You can even have 50.6, 50.7, 50.8. All right. So why is this included? It's because continuous data, when we collect data, we have to know what data are we collecting. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, because knowing what type of data that we'll be using or that we'll be collecting will guide us in our analysis. Okay, so that's it. So let's move on to the next slide. All right, let me just click on that. Okay, here we go. So first things first, in analysis, it's always garbage in, garbage out. Your analysis is as good as your data. Please do not forget this. Because you can use all the high-end statistical analysis programs, statistical analysis tools, but if your data is not accurate, it's not reliable, it was not collected honestly, it was not collected properly, then your analysis will definitely be useless, or not, it's not generalizable, it's not factual. So you get the drill, you get the gist of what it means in data analysis of garbage in, garbage out. All right. So hopefully, when you do researches in the future, you remember this. All right. So gather data not just for the sake of compliance, but for the sake of intellectual honesty and for reliable data analysis. All right. Okay, here we are. Tips on data collection. All right. So when you gather data, I will be showing to you how you're gonna put data in your database or in your Excel later on. Now, I would like to remind everyone that it's ideal that you have to be as specific as possible. What do I mean by this? In experience, when you do surveys, usually, we tend to group age. If I don't know if you can relate with me, we group people like 21 to 25 or 21 to 26. All right. That's not bad, but in my point of view, in terms of experience and in terms of if you want to have more reliable results and analysis, you have to be as specific as possible for data that can be very specific, like for age. It's ideal that you write the exact number. If you're 25, write there 25. So 26, 27, exact numbers. All right. So that's my advice. And also on income. All right. So usually income, well, commonly we see groupings of this kind of data in your survey questionnaire. Okay. And again, I again suggest that you write ideally the rough estimate of your income. Okay, it's better to have a more specific data when we do analysis. Okay, hopefully that's clear. Anyway, you can ask questions later. So okay, I don't know if I'm going too fast, so just give me a heads up if I'm too fast or what. You can ask your questions later. Just jot them down so that you will not forget as we go along. So that's the first. So second is use appropriate tools as much as possible. Now, why am I saying this? Because again, as I've said in my previous slide, that garbage in, garbage out. You cannot use a thermometer to measure your height, definitely, right? So if you're gonna measure temperature, you have to measure a thermometer. So if you're gonna measure your height, you have to use a meter stick or whatever appropriate tool. All right. So, however, in the social science, uh, what you call this, social science discipline, we we commonly we commonly do ratings, right? Ratings of perceptions, ratings of um, agreement, or what? All right. Okay. Um, that's why actually this is another separate topic for making questionnaires, measuring something that is what you call it, abstract, no, like perceptions, level of awareness, level of perception levels commonly. So that's why if you're going to do that kind of survey, that tool has to be as reliable, has to be valid, it has to be evaluated, so forth and so on. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. All right, so that's tips on data collection in line with analysis, because this is I have to really stress this out, because sometimes sometimes when we check papers, it's something question about how did you measure this? How was the data collected? How was the data, provided? Something like that. Okay. So let's move to the next part. All right. This is one of the, should we say, important parts. All right. Because let's say you have all things ready, you have all things prepared, you have all things taken into consideration, you have already given out questionnaires, you have made your measurements, you have administered everything that you need to administer. You have now your let's say responses. All right. So in order for us to analyze them as fast and as accurately as possible, we have to encode them properly. We have to encode them in such a way that it makes it easier to analyze. Okay, so I have here a video to be shared to everyone on how you should, or how to properly encode data in Excel. All right, so this is a questionnaire. If you can see in the video, never mind the cat. No, so basically, basically is gonna teach on how to encode your questionnaires into Excel. All right. First and foremost, it's ideal you have to put numbers on your papers to guide you on on what what respondent are you working on. Okay, and especially if this is important, if you have missing information, you have to like have a control number on your instruments. All right, so now this is Excel. Okay, you have, this is how it looks in Excel. No, you have columns and you have your rows. So your first row, so if you can see in the video, that is where you put your headers, or should we say your your data names, something like that. Your second row is for your respondent. Okay, your first respondent. So the columns are your variables. All right. So he placed ID. So this is your ID number. When you put 1, it means you are working on instrument 1, or survey question 1, or respondent 1. Okay. So now you have, if you can see in the video, you have the questions. So this is about how old are you. So anyway, since I said about exact age, so here he has just group them, but well, in your survey questionnaires in the future, it's ideal that you will have to put exact age for your respondents. Okay, so if you can see, all right. So he marked X on that profile, okay. So for this kind of variable, it's ideal that you have codes, okay. If you can see. So since he's checked out one, he placed one on question one, because question one, it's understood that it's about age. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. So if you are 24, you will be in you'll write 2 for that respondent. Okay, so let's proceed. So here we are on the second question. All right, now this is what will happen if you have more than one selected. Okay, so sometimes we have questions that applicable to every that you can that to call this applicable to us. All items are applicable to us, so we can like check or choose more than one. All right, so check the headers. All right, so we are on question 2, and he placed there question 2A, question 2B, question 2C. All right, so therefore that A, the B, and the C refers to the 3 choices. And since we can answer all of them, this is how you code them. This is how you write that code there. Okay. So I hope this will this can guide future researchers. Na you will no longer ask, ma'am, how will we collect our data? How will we encode our data? So this will now guide you on that process. Okay. So he's now pointing. All right. So there, he placed 1, he placed 2 on B, and he placed 1 on C. Now, however, when you say 2, because it's not selected, for me, on my personal advice, I usually do 0. For me, it's much more understandable. So when I put 0, if I put 0 on question 2B, it means that respondent did not select option B. Okay, hopefully that's clear. All right. So again, you can do, so 1 means he choose option A, no? And for option C, he also chose that, so there's 1. So no, okay, here we are. All right. So now we have ratings, which are very familiar. For sure, everyone is very familiar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the usual Likert scales. So since he chose fair, he wrote 2. All right. Now, yes and no questions. Okay. Only 2 choices. So it's up to you what kind of coding. Again, coding is the term for your data. Again, commonly in my experience, if it's a no, I usually put a 0 instead of a 2. Okay. All right. So if you choose yes, you put there 1 as your answer. So yeah, that's it. All right. Now, surveys tend or sometimes have textual data or response data if your respondents answer them. But in my experience, it's very rare for some respondents to just write comments or write textual data. No, and those are the only ones who answer are those the diligent ones. So there, you write the full text on the cell, just a lot space on that area. All right. So here we have range data. We have range this circles here. All right. So basically, it's the same. If we can just put back, so it's 1. So if you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So since the first circle is X or ticked, you write 1 on your Excel data. Okay. All right. So hopefully that's it. Anyway, For the participants who have slow internet, which we cannot really do much about that, I can provide you with the files of the videos that I have been using for this webinar. Hopefully that's okay, so that you can browse through them and you can um, look at them on your spare time, right, or on your time that you have more stable internet. All right. So hopefully that's clear, or that helps you a lot. All right. That helps the beginner researchers to it and how to properly encode data in Excel. All right. Okay. Let's move. Okay. This is something new, siguro, for some of our participants. Okay. Sometimes when we encode data in Excel, we think that it's okay already, or it's like okay, I'm good. Okay, we can now analyze. Well, you can do that if you were very careful and meticulous in your encoding. That's a term, no? But sometimes, human as we are, we commit errors and we commit mistakes or lapses or what, no? Or some things that we did not encode properly. So there is such a thing as data cleaning, meaning you clean your data sheet to ensure that all entries are okay, all entries are valid, so that analysis will have no problems in the long run. All right, sorry. Okay, I'll just mute that one. Okay, now this might be a little challenging for some of us. Okay, I'll just I'll just stop on some parts so that you can get the Excel command. Okay, hopefully that's okay. So here, as you can see, you have data that have excess spaces or excess space bars, or excess pressing of space bar in the laptop or what, and you need to have them trimmed or remove the excess spaces. All right. So okay, as you can see, all right. Now, okay, he will establish the command in Excel. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Try to look at the code, or the what you call this, the code for okay. There you go. That's the trim function. All right. So trim. Then you click on the text that you want to trim. All right. So that cell over there. All right. So there. Press enter, and you now have the data or the text with no extra spaces in between. Okay. And you just drag it down to all your data sets or all your information. Then you have now a more, appropriate, or, mass better data that you have. All right. Okay, okay. Let's go back a little. Okay. Oops. Let's go back a little. Okay. For those, okay. Select and treat all blank cells. Now, there are some respondents that will opt to, skip items, or they just choose not to answer an item. Now, it's recommended that you remove them because they will cause when you take averages, or when you compute the averages, they will affect the result. All right, but this is helpful if you have like around 300 respondents. You have a very big data set, and it's impossible for you to just identify each and every one that has missing data. All right. Right. So like this one, all right? You have here missing information, all right? Missing grades. Okay. So let's observe how it's going to be done. So you need to highlight, obviously, Very important. You need to highlight the entire sheet that has data. Okay. Then you go to find select. Okay. Oops. Let's go back a little for those who did not get that. All right. So, okay. All right. So you go to find select. All right. Find and select, then go to special. Click on that. And here you have options, all right? Or you can just click F5 and it will automatically give you this pop-up. Then click on that special, click on that cell, all right? It takes you to the same pop-up window and choose blanks. So therefore, all blank cells will be, all right, highlighted. If you can see, all blank cells have been highlighted, all right? Okay, then next, you need to delete them, okay? So you can put information to determine that it's not there, all right? So not appeared, okay. What happened, okay? What happened to that not appeared, all right? You click on a cell, not appeared, then take note of this shortcut, Control Enter. What it does is, oh, there. All highlighted blank sheets got or have the information pasted, inputted automatically without you having to type each and every time for the blank cell. All right. This saves you a lot of time and effort and, sleepless nights if ever you have a lot of data. All right. Oops, sorry. All right. So the next one is about, all right, convert numbers text into numbers. Okay. It's like you have to convert a number into text. Okay. All right. So you can see you have numbers here. Okay. It's pointing out. Okay. And well, you have a number on the opposite side anyway. Just take note of the commands in a few minutes. Right. So you choose text on the, you choose general on the number section in Excel on this part here. It's where you can find the number menu or the number window. Okay. Okay. So, okay, now this data becomes no longer just a number, but a specific, entry, no longer just a number. Okay. So that it becomes easier for us to replace. So here's the, okay. Take note of the shortcut. Okay. Okay. So anyway, this is when you have an established value. All right. Sige lang. Let's move forward. It's not so common. Okay, it's not so common. All right. So here, this is, I believe this is very important. This is important. Duplicates. Okay. So duplicate entries or duplicate names. All right. So, all right. Now, remember, okay, check. We have conditional formatting. you see that next to the number menu, all right? So you go to highlight cells and duplicate values. And you can set there a command or an identity, or it highlights or it changes the colors of entries that are doubled or repeated or what. Okay. So you have several people like Bill, who has been entered 3 times. So you can we can now delete them. This should be deleted. All right. So again, data, remove duplicates. All right. Data menu, remove duplicates. It's somewhere here in your Excel header, right? Okay. So anyway, I can send you this video. This is our last for the data cleaning because this is the usual common ones. Okay. All right. So when you click on these headers, it tells Excel that remove entries on this specific header. So if I click on a student, it removes the duplicate student. Okay. So if I click on math, it's gonna remove all duplicate values under math. All right. So let's observe the video so that and we can move to the next. Okay. All right. So all right. So remove. All right. And you click OK. So there, the data is now been removed of duplicate data or duplicate entries. Okay, let's move. Okay. Okay, here we are. I will just be very, I'll give you the basics, no, since I'm almost 30 minutes. I'll show you the quick ways of doing this in Excel, all right? So that you can practice them on your laptop on your own free time, okay? So from here, I'll transfer to a new screen for Excel. Okay, let's go to the graphs. Okay, I'll just open the Excel file. Give me a few minutes. Oh no, not minutes, seconds lang. Okay, where am I? Okay. Okay, show all windows. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay, where is the okay. I'll share. All right, here. So I guess you see this. This is the graph. So if you see this is a pie graph, all right? This is how it looks like. So I guess some of you know how to do this, but for the sake of those who are still beginners, let's do it. Let's see how it's done. So first and foremost, you have to highlight your data or the numbers or the values that you have. So I have here boys and girls. So I have 45 boys and I have 60 girls. So depending on your version of Excel, you usually go to insert and choose charts. So it gives you a recommended chart. If you're gonna go to all charts, it's also the same. So I'm gonna choose pie, and you can choose whatever format or look you want to do with it. So for this one, I'm gonna choose this, and there you go. It gives you now a pie graph. You can do quick layout if you want to add additional information or additional things like that. All right. So that's for pie. Hopefully you got that. All right. Now for bar, okay, this is the how it looks like on a bar. You have 4 sections with average grades. Okay. And if you want to compare the sections, you can use bars. All right. I think you know very well why bars are very important. All right, so let's do that. So again, insert. You always have to go to insert, then charts. always repeat lang tani for the next few items. Insert, then charts, insert, then charts. Then we go to all charts if you want. Now, for Excel, they call this column, this kind of graph as column charts. All right, there you go. Now you have section A, B, C, and D, and for comparison purposes, you can now easily check which section is basically having higher average, so forth and so on. So that's how you do bar graph. So line, all right? Line is basically done to establish trends across time, days, weeks, months, or even years. So here I'm comparing two companies for their income, or should we say profit, for January, February, and March in millions, all right? So these numbers here means in millions. So again, always the same, highlight. Okay, let's remove this. Highlight the data or the information. Again, insert, then charts, then go to all charts if you don't, okay, and you see their line. You can choose this one or you can choose this one, all right? Or you can also choose with points, so whichever you like. Okay, I'm gonna choose that one. So there you go. So you now see the blue is company A and the orange is company B. So that's how you make a line graph. So just a quick review. All right, this is the last, the bar graph. All right, not bar graph, I mean the radar graph or the spider graph. Some might not be very familiar, or some might be familiar, but we don't. Bar graphs are not so famous as of, well, in my experience. No, now here, before I delete this, what it does is that I have here a data of cell phones. Let's say I'm comparing two cell phones based on features. All right. Now, the features that I have chosen, or my consideration for a phone, is price, camera, processor, storage, and RAM. So the numbers here means that the more I am close to 10, the better, or the more interesting, or the better the feature. So in order for you to to make a decision, or to make proper decisions, or to illustrate which one is better in terms of certain criteria, for me the radar graph or the spider graph is a much better way of doing it. All right, so let's delete that. So again, the same thing, we highlight data, and we do insert, then charts, then you go to all charts, radar, okay, you see here, that's the radar, it's called the radar graph in Excel, and double click on that, and there you have it. Okay, so there you go. You now see price, camera, processor, storage, and the closer it is to 10, the better the features are. So yeah, this is the radar graph for everybody's information. So that's it for the graphs. Okay. Next, okay. We're almost through, don't worry. Hopefully you're not having too much nosebleeds. All right. Now, we have here descriptive statistics. This is very simple, very easy. This computing mean, median, and mode. I'll just be very quick on this because and just give you a brief back explanation on the parts. So I'll share to you another Excel. All right, I'm gonna share to you another Excel. Where is it? Descriptives. Okay. So I have here data, which is exam scores. I have here exam scores data. Okay. Now I want to know their mean, standard deviation, median, mode, so forth, and so on. Okay. Don't worry, I'll give you a short explanation. I can give you this file if you want for your reference, if you want more understanding of these parts. All right. So let's do it and let's go to how to do that in Excel. Okay. Now, we go to the data feature of Excel, which is here, if you can see that. Now, I'm thinking that some of you don't have this feature automatically in Excel, so I might just show you how to go about that, no? So you go to file or option, you go to options in Excel, all right, here. Then you go to add-ins. So you go to go. So make sure you have this tool click, the analysis tool pack. All versions of Excel have these versions or have this embedded. It's just that you have to manually install them if you have not placed them in your Excel. Okay, make sure you have those two clicked in order for you to have the data analysis features of Excel. Okay, let's go. Since I have that already, I go to data. Again, it's in the top part. Data analysis on the topmost right in your screen, the data analysis part. Here we go. And here you have options. And we go to descriptives. All right, there we go. So it's going to ask for input range. All right. So you highlight the data that you want to be analyzed. So columns, if your data are in a column or in vertical manner, make sure you click labels in first row if you have included exam scores as part of your highlight. Then here, you choose the cell where you want the information to appear. So you do that and you click on the cell. So there you have it. And just click summary statistics because that's all you need to know for descriptives. And there you go. So you have here mean, standard error, median, mode, so forth, and so on. So what does this mean? What does this all the information mean? All right. Here I have laid out several sheets for you to be able to explain for you to be explained on how or what this information mean or what it does or what does it represent. So we have mean, average. It's average. Okay. Standard error, how close? Okay, so yeah, just read through them just for your reference lang. For sure you've heard some of this. Okay, now I would like to just focus on this last two, the kurtosis and the skewness, because this is actually one interesting aspect, no? All right, let's go. Okay, kurtosis is a peak of a distribution. Okay, what does it mean? Refer to this image. So the value of your kurtosis determines what type of peakness it has. So since our kurtosis is a negative 1.4, so if we look at this image, we see that it's a platychortic kurtosis. It is a platychorsis. It means that it's spread out. The data is spread out. No, it's not too many got a very peak score. No, yeah, meaning there's not much number that got a very high score or measurement in the data. Because if you look at the red kurtosis, the leptocortic, it's thin, meaning a lot of the persons got the means. All right, got the average of that. All right. All right. The score is very high compared to this platychortic distribution. Okay, so just refer to this. This is peakness. All right. All right. Now, last thing is on skewness. So yeah, for sure you've heard of skewness. So skewness is this one, the skew to the right and the skew to the left. So, well, this is about distributions, no? So, okay, as the value in the skewness tells what kind of skew it has. So if our data is a result of negative 0.4, if we look at this negative 0.4, so it's negatively skewed, all right? So it's this violet line here. So if it's positively skewed, it's skewed to the left. Okay, just skewed to the left, going to the left. Sorry. Skewed to the right, it goes to the right. So skewness tells you where most of the observations fall. At what value the data or the respondents fall. So if it's normal, meaning the number of people, most people got the average while most are getting lower or higher scores with just the same distance. Okay, so here we are. So you can just refer to this file if you want them to be sent. All right, let's move to the last. Okay, which is, I think, one of the most interesting parts if you, okay. So we now move on to the inferential stats. Okay, I think I'll just go with correlations and how to do this in Excel. All right. Okay, let's go to Excel. Inferential. Okay, so right. You have here a data set. I have here 3 sheets if you can see them. Okay. I have here 3 sheets. Okay. So this is data, all right? Okay, let's go first with the independent t-test. So the nature of this analysis is hypothesis testing, all right? Everything is hypothesis testing. So here we hypothesize, or we are trying to see if there's a difference in the height of males and females. So we hypothesize that there's no difference in their heights. So depending on our result, we either reject them or we fail to reject them. So how do we do that in Excel? So this is the result. Again, data. Don't forget, we always go to data for this part, data. All right. So we go to data analysis on this side. So we choose t-test assuming unequal variances. This is one of the safest t-tests that you can use, because always we try to assume that variances are actually unequal. So you just choose that, then click OK. All right, you choose the first group or the first variable that you want to be measured or to be included. Then the second one is this one. Okay. All right. So just put 0 on the hypothesized mean difference here. So hopefully you just followed through lang. So if you have labels, you make sure you click on them. Make sure you click on that part and choose the cell where you want to put your results or the outputs. There you go. So now you see that you now have results. All right. Now, where do we look for what are we interested in? So here is where we are focusing, the two-tailed p-value. So you can see that it's in the exponential notation. You can use number to have the exact p-value number. So we now see that you have a p-value, and if you look at this side, if you have a p-value of lesser than 0.5, it is significant at the 0.05 level. So that means 95% confidence interval. If you have a p-value lesser than 0.1, it's significant at 0.01, so it's significant at 99% confidence. So depending on your p-value, you can actually determine at what confidence you can assume, or you can actually, at what level are you confident with your p-value. So it means here, so our p-value is lesser than 0.01, it means that there is a significant difference between males and females in terms of heights. And which group is relatively taller? Well, if you can see the means, if you can see the average, you see that the males are higher or taller than males based on this data set. So that's how you do t-test for independent t-test, comparing two groups of two independent groups. Right. Next, for paired, we have paired. So when we say paired, the samples are the same in the pre and the post. So this is usually done when you have pre-testing and post-testing. You have an intervention prior and post to whatever it is you are testing. So let's do how to do that in Excel. Data, analysis, t-test paired to samples for means. That's what you want to select. Then go to OK. So then again, you have to choose the variables. So here, I'll choose the first one. Then the second one. Then this one. All right. So 0. So just put 0 there. That's labels. Alpha, that's set at 2.5. Then input range, choose the cell where you want the results to appear. There you go. And there. You have now the results. So again, the two-tailed p-value is what we're gonna look for. That's actually what we're interested at. So here, if you recall the previous cell, the p-value here is 0.12. It's not lesser than 0.05. It's higher than 0.05. So therefore, what does it mean? That our hypothesis is we failed to reject our null hypothesis. So there is no difference in the pre and the post module. So depending on what you're looking at, there means there's not much improvement, there's not much change. So if you have this p-value, therefore no significant difference in the pre and the post module. And okay, now we move on to the next. Okay, this is what you use. We are now at Anova. All right, we compare more than 2 groups, independent groups. So if you have separate or you have 3 or more groups you want to compare, you want to use Anova. All right. So let's go. Data, again, analysis, then choose Anova single factor. There are lots of Anovas, just choose the single factor. So you highlight the data that you want here. Then, okay, columns because the data are in columns, and labels in first rows because my data has labels. Then output range, just choose the cell where you want to appear. There you go. All right, okay. Now we have a p-value of 0.03003. So it's lesser than 0.05, and it's been lesser than 0.01. So therefore, there's a program that is better than the rest, or there are programs better than the rest. Now, if you look at the average here, we see that program 1 and program 3 have the highest means. So they could make this will mean that these 2 programs are the best, all right, for faculty development. So, by the way, the data here or the numbers here is evaluation score. No, the perfect for this is 14. 15 in terms of scores. Okay, I hope I did not tire you out that much. And now, last but not least, thank you. The correlations, this part, all right? So what do we do with correlations? Okay, let's go. What's in for correlations? All right. So, sorry. Oh, sorry. For a while. Okay. I'm just gonna blur that out. Okay. So this is how you do it in Excel. The quickest way in Excel, right? So what is in it for correlations? So correlations is actually, we want to see a connection between 2 variables. So what the data here, or what the analysis is here, is that do we see a correlation between age and BMI, so body mass index? So does it mean that the older you get, the higher, or the higher your BMI, the more you are prone to be obese, or something like that? So is there a correlation between age and BMI? So that is what is being done here. So we are going to compute values here to determine our results. So first is the coefficient. Okay. All right. So take note of the formula. Anyway, I can send this video to you. All right. So you can just write equal sign and type in Pearson. It automatically gives you the function. Then parentheses, all right. Array 1 or data 1, okay. You highlight the data for the first variable, then comma, then you highlight the second variable, then just press enter. There you go. You automatically have the R coefficient, all right? So the R coefficient gives you how strong the connection, how strong the two variables are connected. So the more you are closer to 1 or 0.9, the stronger the connection between the variables are. All right, but that will be determined later if the p-value is significant or if it's lesser than 0.05 before we can actually tell if there's a connection between the two variables. So we need this information in order to compute the p-value. Okay, so n, okay, is the number of respondents or samples in this data. So if you have a lot and you cannot count them individually, what you can do is, all right, okay, the count function, sorry, the count function. So count function, just highlight any which part here, if you have choose BMI or age, because you have 11 respondents for this data. So now the T statistic, this is also the ones that needed to compute the p value. All right. Never mind the equation for those who fear alphabet in math. So let's try to look at na lang the functions or the command to immediately get the result. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Equal sign. All right. So the R coefficient, highlight it, multiplied, all right, with the square root of n. So -2, all right, comma, parentheses, all right. So just follow this and you won't get lost. Divided by the square root of 1 minus the R coefficient. But the square root of the R coefficient, sorry. So there you have it, okay? Anyway, this video will be sent to you. You can just follow through it. Now the degrees of freedom, if you remember, okay? Your stat, so it's also important. This is very easy lang to compute, okay? Just take note of the functions or the so what you call this, the formula. So it's the n minus 2. So that's how you get the DF for Pearson and the p-value. All right. So the p-value, this is what's gonna happen. Okay. So there, sorry, I clicked it. All right. T distribution, T dist, then the T statistic value, all right, comma, all right. Then the degrees of freedom, just highlight, all right, comma, and last but not least, the distribution, the tails. So usually I recommend the two-tailed so that you can actually look at the right and the left side or the negative and the positive numbers of the distribution. So that's how you do it. Enter. There. So you have a p-value of 0.006. So it's lesser than 0.05 and it's even lesser than 0.01. So therefore, there is a significant correlation, there's a significant connection between age and BMI. So I think it actually makes sense because the older you get, the more, the less metabolism, the more you accumulate fats or what. So your BMI tends to increase based on your weight and so forth and so on. So therefore, the hypothesis is that there's no correlation is rejected. There is a connection between age and BMI. And the connection or the correlation is actually pretty strong because it's a 0.761, which is very close to, at least more or less close to 9. So there's a strong connection between age and BMI, as indicated by a significant p-value in our analysis. All right. So that's all. I guess I took up more than 30 minutes. Actually, I kind of expected this because I want to
in education major in
but that will be sent to you. You can just follow through it.
timers due to the
Get the more, the less so that you can do your own self-learning, and I'll be very willing to answer questions in a few minutes. So hopefully you enjoyed, you have learned, and yeah, thank you for bearing with me, and thank you very much once again. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Sir Rex.
Whew.
Thank you so much, Sir Rex. Okay, so since due to due to the time, we will be entertaining questions, but please just leave a message in COE hallway, and the speakers, both for today and the next one, will just answer your questions via the COE hallway. So for now, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, for the talk, the second talk is entitled Microsoft Tools for Learning. The speaker for this talk is a very hardworking teacher and a really good friend of mine. He took up master's in education major in ESL in the University of the Philippines, Cebu, and is currently taking up his PhD in English language in the University of San Jose Recoletos. He has taught for high school students for 5 long years and then has been training pre-service and in-service teachers since 2015. His research interest in language and technology led him to become a Microsoft Innovative Educator expert in 2018 to 2019 and 2019-2020, holding Skype in the classroom sessions frequently. Currently, he is the chairperson of the Department of Teacher Education of our College of Education in the university. Friends, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Ionel J. Seroga. Sir Ayo, where are you?
Okay, let's start. So my topic is again Microsoft Tools for Learning, an introduction to Microsoft Education Network, or we call it right now the Microsoft Educator Center. So I'm going to read to you the introduction that I prepared. This talk has been designed to support pre-service and in-service teachers in elementary, high schools, and tertiary in using technology tools to enrich curricula of subjects with their students. So the purpose of this talk is primarily for teachers, both incoming teachers and those teachers who are already in the field, teaching to 12 and tertiary levels. But I'm also opening up this talk for students who are self-directed learners. And that's what we want from our learners, right? From our students. that they become directed, that they become constructivist learners in which they would like to learn by themselves, especially that. Okay, let's start. So my topic is again Microsoft tools for learning, an introduction to Microsoft Education Network, or we call it right now the Microsoft Educator Center. So I'm going to read to you the introduction that I prepared. This talk has been designed to support pre-service and in-service teachers in elementary, high schools, and tertiary in using technology tools to enrich curricula of subjects with their students. So the purpose of this talk is primarily for teachers, both incoming teachers and those teachers who are already in the field, teaching to 12 and tertiary levels. But I'm also opening up this talk for students who are self-directed learners. And that's what we want from our learners, right? From our students. That they become directed, that they become constructivist learners in which they would like to learn by themselves, especially that information is abound anywhere. So therefore, hopefully these tools could be of help to them as they become our perfect learners for the 21st century. So again, this talk is sponsored by the University of San Jose Recoletos College and Graduate School of Education, Center of Excellence in Teacher Education. Again, I'm Sir Ayo at your service. Now, to prove to you that I'm a Microsoft Innovative Educator, kasi you will not believe in me ba? So actually, when you open the Microsoft Educator Center, my dear friends, you can actually enjoy learning for free from the course and the paths and anything in between when it comes to professional and even personal development using Microsoft tools. So I started in 2016, then maybe a year after taking up a lot of courses, because there's actually a limit to the number of courses and number of points that you actually get. So there's actually points that you get every time that you attend a course. Then you accumulate those points, then you become a certified Microsoft Innovative Educator. Then, because I also used my social media to share the courses, the Microsoft tools that I've been using, so I became a Microsoft community enabler. The three successes that I had within this year since 2016, while I enjoyed the Microsoft Educator Center, the Microsoft Education Network, I was able to get that badge, the 25,000 miles badge, in the Skype in the Classroom event, in which we invited Sir Will Staton. Hello to my students under EdTP when we had a Skype session with Sir Will Staton, an educator. In 2018, my students in PT1 actually joined a Skype-a-thon, in which in the 2 days of the Skype-a-thon, sponsored by Microsoft, all teachers, all MIEs were actually invited to that Skype-a-thon, and the proceeds of the Skype-a-thon will be given to this to one charitable institution. The number of miles will be the amount also that Microsoft will give. In June 2019, I joined the Hack the Classroom, that's at HTC, in which it's like a webinar. Everyone was invited, and it's live streamed through Steam, Microsoft Steam. Then the number of attendees joining the HTC were the amount also that was given to a charitable institution as well. So that's what I like about Microsoft, because it is also helping communities and is into sustainable development goals. 2018, I became an MIE expert after applying. So you actually apply for it, then you reapply every after year. So I was also an MIE expert in 2019. Then I just submitted my application for 2020. So fingers crossed, I'm going to be accepted. So please pray for me, guys. This will be our outline for today. So again, the focus on Microsoft tools. So first topic would be introduction to Microsoft Education and remote learning. How does Microsoft Education assist in remote learning and teaching? Second topic, short topic, is on online distance learning with the use of Skype in the classroom. This is where I'm going to share my experiences as to how we did Skype in the classroom sessions. Third would be some tools that are very useful in remote learning and distance learning. We have Microsoft Sway, Teams, and OneNote. Of course, I'm going to put a little on working towards sustainable development goals, because USJ-R, College of Education, is an ESD institution recognized by UNESCO. Of course, with the help of Dr. Jestoni Babia, our Dean and ESD Fellow. And also, a method that we actually apply in the College of Education is problem-based learning. And we can use Microsoft tools towards these, SDGs and problem-based learning, which are very helpful and, of course, sustainable for 21st century learning. Last but not the least, I'm going to introduce to you the Microsoft Educator Center. We will start with a video coming from one of the courses that I did. I saved the video for you guys. I'm going to share this video. Maybe some of you have watched this already, and some of you will be watching this later on once you will enter the Microsoft Educator Center. But this is actually very good for our topic today. So let's watch this video.
Good day, and welcome to this Microsoft in the Classroom seminar. Thank you for setting aside some time in your busy day to take part in this seminar. Teachers are motivated by a desire to empower students, but are also driven by a need to effectively manage an overwhelming schedule. This is evident in the long hours they work before, during, and after school. The educational landscape is replete with so many choices, with a myriad of apps and educational tools dominating the edtech landscape and further overwhelming the already busy lives of teachers. 58% of teachers turn to fellow teachers for help incorporating new tech into their classrooms. The majority of teachers recently polled believe that technology can enhance the learning process, but they are oftentimes restricted by a lack of resources, time, and training on how best to implement technology in the classroom. Technology must help, not hinder, a teacher's day. It must be a seamless part of the work done in the classroom, not seen as an add-on. Microsoft is committed to better understanding the hurdles teachers face and is working to find workable solutions for teachers. As you experience every day, there are many outside influences impacting the direction schools are taking. Some are economic, others social or political. Some are broader changes brought about by the impact technology is having on our lives. The 21st century is now. As we move well into the second decade of the 21st century, we see unprecedented shifts across many parts of the world in which we live. Many of those shifts have significant implications for our schools. We know that you know that it is not as easy as dropping technology into schools. The school culture needs to change, and this needs to happen from the top down as well as from the bottom up. Successful transformational change happens when school leaders and educators work hand in hand. Teachers need to rethink and rework their lesson plans to focus on 21st century skills. Teachers need support not only from their leaders, but from each other. And last and most importantly, it's vital to our economy to create a learning environment that is more conducive for developing creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration skills. By the end of this seminar, you will have access to resources, PD, and a community of educators to achieve those three challenges. I will introduce you to a wealth of free tools that will not only energize your students, but will also streamline the learning process, giving back valuable time for teachers. Accessing free, high-quality professional development is key to improving student outcomes. The Microsoft Educators Community is a great resource for teachers, and participation is the first step in becoming a Microsoft Innovative Educator. This is also where you can sign up to be part of Skype in the classroom. Office 365 for Education is a set of free, modern productivity tools that keep students and teachers connected to one another and their schoolwork from wherever they are, on whatever device they're using. Create, share, and edit files in real time and store everything automatically to the cloud. Use OneNote and OneDrive to share your resources with your class or individual students, sync your files to your computer, and get work done when you're offline with no internet required. Take advantage of 1 terabyte of OneDrive space to save homework assignments, collect and provide feedback on student papers, and work on documents on the go, no matter what device you use. Let's take a look at some examples of how Microsoft products and apps are currently being used by teachers to improve learning outcomes for students.
So I'm the teacher that she's actually talking about. I'm going to share some experiences that I did or I used in the classroom with the use of Microsoft tools. Just a summary of what the introduction video actually shared. And again, you can watch this again once you enter yourself in the Microsoft Educator Center. Number one, Microsoft continuously develops tools for education. Education is really one of the major industries that Microsoft is actually targeting, aside from actual industries, businesses, and even personal uses. Number two, technology integration, as what was said, isn't easy because we need to check on the top bottom, the administrators, and bottom up, the learners as well. So there should be support from each other. Administrators, teachers, learners, teachers within themselves. Number three, as what Microsoft has been really pointing out, that when we use technology in education, we get to improve the economy. How come? Because with the use of technology, we get to tap the 4 C's: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and communication, which are vital skills in the 21st century. And number 4, when teachers develop themselves professionally and continuously, we get to improve student outcomes. Therefore, as we develop ourselves for the betterment of ourselves, we also would like to do this because we would like to improve our students in their totality. That's why the Microsoft tools that Microsoft is actually providing would hopefully be really helpful. So they really have a good way on how to really put everything in order for teachers and students. I have here some frequently asked questions. Actually, this is taken from the Microsoft Education web page that I'm going to share later. And you can actually look right now because you have other devices there perhaps. Or you can use Alt Tab so that you can also look for the websites for those who are using desktop. Number 1, how is Microsoft helping educators quickly get set up for remote learning with Microsoft Teams and Office 365? We're not talking about remote learning because this is the issue that we have right now during the quarantine. Microsoft says, Microsoft is committed to providing guidance and resources for educators, administrators, caregivers whose children who are shifting to online learning. So there are a list of latest resources and guidance, including professional development resources, IT support, and tools to promote student health and engagement. As again, found in the Microsoft Educator Center. Number 2, if my school is new to Microsoft for Education, what do you recommend? As what was said in the video, actually you can get an Office 365 for free the A1 version. You get the A1 version. It's free. It provides a customized hub for class teamwork in Microsoft Teams that includes video meetings, online versions of the Office 365 apps, as well as compliance tools and information protection. So it includes Microsoft Teams already, which is an upgraded learner management system. So you're familiar with Google Classroom, with Moodle. These are learner management system in which the teacher manages the learners inside that virtual classroom. But Microsoft Teams is far beyond those learner management systems. Aside from, I'm biased ako, because again, I'm a Microsoft Innovative Educator expert. But more than that, Microsoft Teams has this video conferencing tool, unlike Google Classroom and Moodle. So it's better. At the same time, it also includes Office 365 apps. I'm going to share that later. Third question, what are the best devices for students to use with Office 365? So they're actually versatile Windows devices that you can actually use. So you can again go to a link that I'm going to provide later, where Office 365 can be used. But the usual desktop, laptop, even mobile devices that you have right now, whether Android or iOS, can still be used for Office 365 and Microsoft. Last question, which I think all of us could really relate right now, including me, if you just don't know, as Chini, I'm really having difficulty with low internet access. What if our homes have low internet bandwidth? So this is what Microsoft suggests. For teachers, we limit the video use in live class sessions. So we could record, or we could not use the video in actual live class sessions. Pwede. Or use pre-recorded content instead of live class sessions. And we keep assignments in Teams smaller by not allowing students to attach media files, because this is where the low internet bandwidth are going to be used up when we use video and we're going to attach media files. So maybe limit media file assignments like using videos and audio, because they're going to consume a lot of bandwidth. For students and for teachers who are going to ask their students, you can tell them to use the video camera sparingly. So that is why one of the rules that Chini, our facilitator, gave was that better not use video camera so that it could accommodate all of us in this Zoom webinar. Number 2, hopefully our students would also work offline in a class notebook. So we actually have an application in Microsoft called Onenote, in which you could actually sync the notebook made by the teacher in Microsoft Office 365 or in Microsoft Teams. You can save it in your own drive, then therefore you can already work on it offline. And that's what I've been talking about, syncing files to your computer or mobile device. You could actually save more if you just use offline. You download it first and then use offline. That's it. These are just some of the suggestions given by Microsoft. I know we still have a lot of concerns. If you're talking about you don't have Wi-Fi and data, Microsoft could not answer that already. I think you know what I mean. We're getting there. So I think all of us have experienced this. The Philippines and the educational system of our schools, both public and private schools, are not ready for remote and distance learning. But I'm just trying to say here, and we have to agree with that idea. I think all of us agree that we are not ready for remote and distance learning. It's just that hopefully after the ECQ, we could think of the idea of now creating guidelines for our own classrooms and for our own schools. Hopefully our school administrators are also listening with me when I say we need to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So therefore, we need to be open now. We're remote and distance learning. Blend our instruction because we really don't know what will happen. Amen. Here's another video that I would want you to watch to introduce Skype in the classroom. Enjoy.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, wonderfully. I think Skype is the ultimate field trip where you are actually able to travel to the other side of the world without ever leaving your classroom.
We can Skype with California today, we can Skype with Brazil tomorrow, and Skype in the classroom allows us to do that.
This is live learning. This is not something we would get in a textbook or in any kind of newspaper article.
Do you think that the U.S. presence is helping with the elections?
Having Skype in the classroom just allows me to see a different type of viewpoint that wouldn't be accessible otherwise.
When I look at poverty alleviation, the biggest kind of need and opportunity is just to get all kids, and especially girls, into school.
Hi, Ben.
We sponsor an orphan in Uganda. His name's Ben, and we pay for his school fees, his food. It feels really good that you've helped somebody with their life.
You can start to teach the kids right from the beginning. They can grow knowing how to conserve the nation. We came up with root harvesting so they can harvest rainwater during the rain season.
That's cool.
The goal is to empower students to play a part in solving some of the world's problems. And Skype makes global learning possible in a way that we cannot replicate.
Wow, there are people out there who really want to better the world and are working for it. We can actually do something.
As educators, we're constantly trying to find tools for them to engage them, excite them, and make those connections to the outside world.
It inspires us that we're really young, but we're making a difference in the world.
Yeah.
The more that we can foster connections, relationships, interactions with those outside of their own natural comfort zone, they'll be better global citizens.
I am beyond excited about the opportunities offered through Skype in the classroom. And I'm hearing some of you ask if we can do this every Friday. I love that.
So of course, my next topic is on distance learning, literally from a distance. That's what we mean with distance learning. But in this case, when our resources come from another place, and we actually could think about that possibility in which we could get new ideas, new information, new insights coming from different people around the world, we could use Skype in the classroom to connect with them. So these are the activities that have been done using Skype in the classroom. I actually call it in my class SITC, that's Skype in the classroom. So these are the activities that you can do. Let me explain each. First is Mystery Skype. So Mystery Skype is a game in which there are two classrooms that are going to virtually connect through Skype, and they're going to guess where they are. Yeah, so this could be useful for social studies or language classes. Actually, Sir Jim Ridapin, one of our teachers from the University of San Recoletos Junior High School and a Cambridge Educator of the Year, way back 2018, used Mystery Skype. Next is virtual field trips. So virtual field trips, there are actually available virtual field trips in the Microsoft Educator Center. One field trip that I really enjoyed, which made me intrigued, was the field trip in an oceanography topic, in which they're going to go below or under the sea, literally, and look at the fishes and how wide the ocean is, because the ocean is still, a lot of it is still undiscovered. So that's a virtual field trip. There's also a virtual field trip to a school, a virtual field trip to a laboratory. You can look at Microsoft Educator Center's resources. And the common SIPC, which I actually used, is introducing or recognizing a guest speaker to talk to the students in front of them virtually through Skype. One activity which could really be SDG based is collaborative PBL projects. So if you look at the video that we watched earlier, they had a collaborative project in which they sponsored a student from Africa, and then they communicated with the teacher there. What happened? How did it go? So it's a collaborative project. We can do that as well through Skype. Next, themed collections. So there's also a set of collections which have pre-recorded Skype sessions already that you can check in the Microsoft Educator Center. One theme collection that I'm really interested with is, of course, about authors. So there are already pre-recorded Skype sessions with famous authors and children's book writers, which English teachers can use. And of course, as what I've been telling you earlier, Skype-a-thon and other Skype events. So that's about Skype in the classroom. These are some of the experiences that we had. So that's what I told you earlier. Will Staton, we actually have him with us, and it's with my EdTP teaching profession students and with my Masters of Education students who are public school teachers. We joined the November 13 to 14 Skype-a-thon, and we went to the USA when we contacted a Filipino teacher who was already teaching there. Then we used also Skype to connect with Sir Jim Dapin, as what I told you earlier. We had a Skype in the session. We can actually, there's already a set of certificates. We just edit them. So it's really a session. You can use that in your classes. Next topic is on tools. So these tools actually can be helpful again with problem-based learning. So, but we'll talk about problem-based learning much later on, but we'll have these tools first. So Microsoft Sway, Microsoft OneNote, and Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Sway, first is the Microsoft Office 365. So if you're going to install the free Microsoft Office 365, you're going to have this as your user interface, in which all tools will be there. Microsoft Outlook, it's like a database. Microsoft OneDrive, it's a cloud. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, that's very familiar to us. Thank you to Microsoft, right, for these productivity tools. OneNote is the notebook that I'm talking about, in which all in the class could actually share and can edit live as well. Microsoft To-Do List, Microsoft Calendar, Microsoft Skype, and all other applications. You could also include Microsoft Teams here. I still have the old version of Microsoft Office 365. This is mine. Again, let's go first with Microsoft Sway. So Microsoft Sway, dear friends, is a presentation program. It is part of the Microsoft Office family of products. Sway was offered for general release by Microsoft in 2015, which allows users to combine text and media to create a presentable website. So think of Microsoft Sway as Microsoft's version of a blog site. It's a website. So it's a presentation software, but intended for live presentation through online means. So again, imagine it as a blog. But to be honest with you, I prefer this more than a blog site because it's easier to use. It's very, if you look at the user interface of Sway, this is the actual space or UI, user interface that you could actually see right away when you visit sway.microsoft.com. 3 parts: create new, start from a topic, and start from a document. Very easy. And you can even do it lengthwise. Sorry, I forgot the term. Lengthwise meaning from top to bottom, or you could have it left to right. So it's up to you how you do it. You can ask students, when you ask them to present something, aside from PowerPoint, you can use Microsoft Sway so that the presentation that they did could automatically be available online. Right? So that's amazing. Students become publishers. I use this when I ask my students to create a presentation about their documentation of visiting schools and division, regional offices. So I ask them to use Sway to become their presentation platform. Another Microsoft tool is Microsoft OneNote. Again, think of OneNote as a notebook shared to everyone in the class. So Microsoft OneNote is a program for free-form information gathering and multi-user collaboration. It gathers users' notes, drawings, screen clippings, and audio commentaries, notes can be shared with other OneNote users over the internet or a network. So, example, I have this notebook under the course 21st Century Learning Design, and it's actually very organized. If you look at the left side of the screen, there are tabs there which will become chapter headers, and in each chapter there are still headers to other topics. You can just click on that, so it's organized that way. So it's really a notebook but digital. You can even edit, you can encircle, you can highlight, just like what we do when we read books. We highlight the entire book. You can also do that in Microsoft OneNote, in the notebook that you have for your class perhaps. And one of the new tools of Microsoft, which is actually its response to remote and distance learning, is Microsoft Teams. Again, as what I've been telling you, Microsoft Teams is a learner management system, but again, it has a communication part to it, because it allows video conferencing for the entire class who is part of the Microsoft team. So there's an available template for it for a class. There's an available template for a group, let's say a faculty. There's also a template intended for business. In our case, we're going to focus on Microsoft Teams Classroom, and just look at the left portion. There's a part for chatting, there's a part for teams, in which there are activities there, assignments, projects that are done, a calendar there for the class. You can even do calls, one student to another student, teacher to one student, within the Microsoft Teams, and files that are submitted. So for those who are familiar with Google Classroom, it's like Google Classroom, but again, it has a feature of calling within the class, and chatting, and even having a lecture teacher to students. That's why Microsoft Teams is nice. Hopefully our school would buy the Microsoft Teams premium, so that we could really use it also for our class. For our administrators and teachers there, you can also acknowledge Microsoft Teams and recommend it to your administrators. Microsoft tools for SDGs and PBL. This is taken from the Microsoft CSR page, that Microsoft is really committed towards sustainable development. So you will also see in the Microsoft Educator Center, there's also a page there intended for sustainable development goals. So there are a lot of resources that are available, videos, lesson plans, pictures that can teach students sustainable development. For our students there, you can also look at that page if you really want to know more about sustainable development goals. So Microsoft is committed to sustainable development. Let me just read this portion from the text that you are actually looking at right now. Our mission, talking about Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more aligns strongly to the UN SDGs. We demonstrate this commitment through our products and solutions, our responsible business practices, our programs, our policies, and advocacy work, and our philanthropic investments. So that's the commitment of Microsoft towards SDGs and PBL. So there are a lot of resources for SDGs, and that everything that it is doing is always for sustainability. So here's a video that I would like us to watch.
As teachers, we want to show our kids that you can make an impact all around the globe. Really, it's just a matter of reaching out. Using Skype means that I can connect to outstanding educators around the world and at a moment's notice. One of these teachers is from Nairobi, Kenya, and he reached out to let us know that their water pipes in their city and around their school had burst and was now contaminated with their sewage water.
Our children want to be able to stay at school. We have to send them home. We have no way to purify the water.
I am so sorry to hear what is happening with your community and your school and what you and your children are facing. Livingston, we're going to go away. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk with our students and see what we can do.
Immediately, Stacy and I started thinking about the science aspect of it and the math aspect and how we could bring that into our classroom.
So in science, we're learning to make the filters. In social studies, We found out where Nairobi is. We learned all kinds of facts about drinking water. In language arts, we read about what's going on in Nairobi.
Hey Livingston, so our students have been figuring out how to build filters out of household materials. Here's the thing, they've decided that you probably need quick results, something that's going to help you guys and make the biggest impact for the most amount of people.
They knew they wanted to send a filter system like LifeStraw. They wrote emails to the LifeStraw company to see if they can get someone to Skype with our class to hopefully partner with us.
I don't know if you realize it, but the impact that you're going to have on the schools in Nairobi is just amazing. So here's what I propose. Once you raise your first $2,000, LifeStraw will give to the schools in Nairobi 4 of our LifeStraw community products. And then we'll train the teachers and train the kids on how to use them. And then we want to keep talking to you over Skype, and we'll continue to support your program because we think it's great.
This is a project that everyone should be a part of and everyone should know because we're helping someone else and we're doing it as a school together.
So we want to tell you today, our friends, that we now have secured funding where we are going to be able to install community water filters in both of the schools.
Oh, this is greatest news ever. It was actually amazing to meet you and have support from you to help our school get clean water. It made me very happy that we met each other, and I'm proud of you all.
We all take things for granted way too much and don't realize it. Problem solving is a life skill. You're going to use it throughout life. You know what? I'm going to start something, I'm going to finish it, and I'm going to help someone.
Don't let anyone tell you that you're too young to make a difference.
We had this common goal that we were all able to accomplish together.
So, dear friends, they actually use Skype in the classroom and Microsoft tools to be able to tap a sustainable development goal, which is clean water. If you're familiar with the 17 sustainable development goals, then they use problem-based learning to identify the problem. The problem is they don't have clean water, and they use a lot of steps in the different subjects to be able to identify a good solution for that particular problem, which is related to the SDGs. So if you remembered or if you noticed the video, science teacher discussed about filtering system. The social studies teacher tried to tap letting students know where Kenya and Nairobi is, and the English teacher is the one who is actually helping them out with communicating with LifeStraw, the organization which actually donated the LifeStraw community filters. Math is actually the one in charge of collating the $2,000 that they have to fund and raise straw, and therefore LifeStraw could give the school communities in Kenya their clean water. So see, Microsoft tools and Microsoft paved the way for attainment of sustainable development goals. So with that, I'm going to introduce you now to the Microsoft Education Center. So this is the front page. So you can visit education.microsoft.com and you just explore it. So on top, we have remote learning resources. Again, because Microsoft actually is working also help in this time during the COVID-19 pandemic. So the first set of resources that you see are the remote learning resources for parents, for teachers who are using distance learning, and for students themselves. There's also a set of resources for school leaders, for educators, for IT professionals, for students and parents. It's really a complete network. So this is the lower portion of the Microsoft Education Center. So we could explore courses. You could get points. You can explore learning paths. Learning paths are actually longer than courses. You could also explore resources and lesson plans. These are for teachers, which they can use. You can use in your own classrooms. And you can also, when you are able to create already your profile, you view your achievements. What I shared to you earlier, badges and points that you've earned. And that's it. So I believe that Microsoft is very helpful for us, students, teachers, parents, especially in this time of crisis. Sadly, I could not really tell you that we can use them right now, and I think you're also thinking the same. But at least when we come back after GCQ to our respective schools, to our respective stations, we get to realize that we have to prepare. We have to know how to do and handle remote and distance learning. Hopefully, we already have the right resources and the right tools. We also give tools to ourselves as teachers and as parents, as administrators in the form of professional development courses and sessions so that we could become more knowledgeable and therefore we could improve the outcomes of our students and hopefully we could also attain sustainable development goals. So thank you so much for listening to my talk this evening. Every one of you keep safe. I'm now open to questions. Here are some resources by the way. Jeannie? As administrators in the form of professional development courses and sessions so we could become more knowledgeable and therefore we could improve the outcomes of our students. Everyone of you keeps safe. I'm now open to questions. Some resources by the way. Jeannie?
Okay, so that's it for the talk of Sir Ionel J. Terogo. I apologize to those who are watching via Facebook Live as the material is recorded. But I believe Sir Ayo is right here now. Sir Ayo?
Yes, thank you, Jean. Pasensya na po sa mga nakikinig sa atin sa Facebook Live. This is really the limitation of low internet access. I'm actually from a far place with not much of internet connection. So what I did was I had a pre-recorded material. So we assure you that the material that I had will be posted in our YouTube account. And hopefully you could view it again for your own purpose. Some questions that I received are, is there any payment for Microsoft? Actually, no. I'm also not paid by Microsoft. But what I like is that there is that reward system that you get while you are developing yourself professionally by taking up the courses in the Microsoft Education Center. You also get to help yourself and your students because you're improving their learning outcomes by improving yourself. So therefore, I really would like that a lot of us will become Microsoft innovative educators using Microsoft tools, and not just even Microsoft tools, but all other tools that are helpful for technology because, again, as what we are experiencing now in the pandemic, we really don't know what will happen next. But we all agree as teachers that learning must continue. So therefore, we should use the tools that are available. Jeannie?
Thank you so much, Sir Ayo. So that's it, my friends. Thank you again for being with us tonight. To give us more information about the upcoming webinars that we have prepared for you, I would like to call one of our faculty members from the Physical Education Department, Mr. Montano Tapanan, to give us the information that we need for us to be able to follow the webinar. Sir?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. In behalf of USJ-R College of Education, we would like to invite you to our next webinar session on May 15, same time at 7 p.m. This will be facilitated by the College of Education Physical Education instructors. The session will talk about sustaining active lifestyle at home. Part of the discussion are the following: importance of fitness at home, educational tools in physical education, Pinoy games at home, other fitness workout like walking and Zumba. In other words, we are going to provide you with different options and ways on how to stay fit and maintain active lifestyle. So what are you waiting for? Join us on May 15 at 7 p.m. Let us stay fit and healthy. See you all and adelante.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Patano. I will also be attending this seminar about fitness for us to be fit, right? At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call our dean once again, and let's hear what he has to say about programs in the college. Sir Bob.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chini, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining our webinar series. We apologize for some technical delays and also some technical problems, and I hope that we will perfectly do it the next time around. So anyway, let's just have a quick review on what will happen on the next session. So we're done with session 1, then next session, which was Sir Montano mentioned on sustaining an active, healthy lifestyle at home. Session 3 will be for special education, the new normal. Let me just correct session 4. That's exploratory data analysis using path analysis. So it's not using principal component analysis, but it's using path analysis. And session 5 will be on ESD and global citizenship education. So I hope that you have enjoyed much with our webinar. You have learned something. And for those who are interested to enroll in USJ-R College of Education, these are the following programs that we are offering. We have Bachelor of Elementary Education, Bachelor of Early Childhood Education, Bachelor of Physical Education, Bachelor of Special Needs Education Generalist, Bachelor of Special Needs Education major in Early Childhood Education, Bachelor of Special Needs Education major in Elementary School Teaching, Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English, Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Filipino, Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics, and Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Science. We also offer Bachelor Diploma in Professional Education for those who have finished their 4-year education. And if you want to become a teacher and a licensed teacher, the Diploma in Professional Education is still available. That will be every semester. So once you take the 24-unit course for the semester, then you are now qualified to take the licensure exam. And of course, we also offer the Diploma in Professional Education with concentration in catechism. So for those who are catechists and for those who have same with the 4-year degree course, you finish a 4-year degree course and you are teaching catechism in schools, in private and public schools, then you are qualified for this program. So I guess that's it. I hope to see you on the next webinar series. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sir Bob, for that. And of course, for more information about the College of Education and the University of San Jose Recoletos, please do visit our website, www.usjr.edu.ph, or again, you may just visit the Facebook page of the University of San Jose Recoletos, or of course, for the college, we have the COE hallway. And we also have our YouTube channel where you can find the entire webinar session for tonight. The materials will be given to you. And again, if you have questions regarding the particular topics that we have given you tonight, do not hesitate to leave a message on our COE hallway Facebook page. And our speakers would be glad to answer your questions. For your certificates, ladies and gentlemen, please visit the COE hallway page because we will already be posting the link And again, a reminder, the link will expire in 1 hour. So please complete the link for you to be able to receive your certificate of participation. And again, stay healthy, stay home, or better yet, continue learning with the College of Education through our webinar series. See you on our next webinar on May 15, same time, that's Friday. Keep posted for more details. Thank you so much, everyone.